Hi you guys, it is Brenda here from Brenda Resin Designs on Instagram, and I am attempting to make my very first tutorial on resin coasters. I received this kit from Just For You Online UK, and it comes with everything. It's a starter kit for making your first coaster. So in the kit, it came with the resin and the hardener. Just you have to mix, that's the basis for all resin coasters. There was this mold in there, cute design, and this very shimmery, iridescent, I don't know if you can see on camera quite the color, but it's really fine, sparkly, beautiful color. It is fine iridescent white glitter. And this 3D glitter flakes. I haven't used this color, but if you've seen any of my artwork, you know I'm a huge fan of this stuff. It's gorgeous, and this color I haven't tried yet. I'm really super excited to try it. It's rainbow white glitter flakes. So it's really pretty, and the kit also came with a little container of pigment. A little pigment goes a long way, so this actually would last a long time. This color is Teal It Sparkles pigment. Cute name. Excited to try that out. So that's all the stuff that came in the kit. That's mostly everything you need to start making resin coasters, besides some things that you probably have around your house or you can get from the dollar store. And I will walk you through step by step how to make your first beautiful resin coaster. So bear with me. I've not made a tutorial before. I'm a little nervous and excited to do this, but we'll get through it, and I promise we'll have a beautiful coaster at the end. Thanks. Before we get on to creating our coaster, I wanted to just go over the other materials that I'll be using in the video to make the coaster that hopefully you have around your house. If not, they're typically relatively inexpensive. Just that the heat gun, you'll need a heat gun, and these, I mean, run about $20. Hopefully you happen to have one at home. I think they have really cheap ones online, Amazon, things like that, but this is the heat gun that I use, and it works well for me. It's not any specific brand I went out and got, just happened to have it. So also, you always want to make sure that you are prepared for safety. So you need to have a mask, and this one I use, it's from RZ Mask. It actually has a filter in there that has been rated for fumes and chemicals, so which is resin is a chemical, so you want to make sure you're really safe about that. So anytime you start mixing those resin together with the hardener, especially when you're heating it with your heat gun, or if you use a little torch, you can use a torch too, but when you start heating it, that's going to create fumes. Those are you know, something you want to protect yourself from. And also sanding, if you do decide to sand your coasters down, that dust you want to protect yourself from. So that's when I always use the mask. So, and then also I use eye protection. We have these around already because we, I think, have them for construction or shooting range or something like that. So also another thing that I use all the time is going through McDonald's. I'm not gonna lie and say we don't do that relatively often. So I have my kids, everybody save these cups, McDonald's cups, any kind of drive-through cups that are plastic. Dutch Bros, Starbucks, anything like that, they're clear like this, I'll save them. I'll wash them, dry them, and use them for my resin. So a lot of times I can peel it out after it hardens and use them 2 or 3 times. So that for me is awesome because they were gonna go in the garbage anyway, so I use them. And I buy these from the dollar store. $1 for this. There's 36 little tiny cups in here, and these are just so small and perfect for mixing like all your separate different little colors. For mixing, when I mix, I happen to have like these paintbrushes already. I tried different paintbrushes. Some of the paintbrushes have, they're wood, and they have a painted outside edge, and it started to chip off, and little tiny paint chip pieces would mix up in my resin. You don't want that to happen. But these ones specifically, you can see, well, some of them I didn't clean off very well, and so now there's hardened resin color on there. But these are, I don't know if you can tell, I don't know what kind of plastic these are made out of, but they're plastic. So I now am very diligent about, after using them, I clean them off right away, and they stay, you know, relatively clean like this, and I just keep using them over and over and over again. That way I don't have to waste money on any popsicle sticks, and people do that or whatever. So that's what I use. Also these wipes, Lysol wipes, Clorox wipes, these are so important to me. I use these to wipe up everything. They make it so easy. Regular paper towels or anything like that isn't going to do the same thing. So I use these to get resin off my hands, off my paintbrush ends, and I'll show you that as I walk through. So basically, oh, and gloves. Protect your skin. You don't want to get resin on your skin. So resin, warning, is very messy. It can be very messy, especially when you're first starting out working with it. So you want to make sure you protect your surface with plastic. Resin won't stick to plastic, so basically I just use a big huge black garbage bag, and I cover my surface. When I heat it up, sometimes the heat gun will melt it, it's fine. I cut it or use a new garbage bag. So one last thing that I have here is my little glitter grabber, I guess. I don't know, I made this myself. It is just a straw, and I basically turned it into my own Slurpee straw kind of thing. I cut the end of it open, and then I just use it to dip into my glitters and pigments, and yeah, and just wipe it off. And when I was wiping it off a little bit to prepare for this tutorial, because it has several different colors on there, I noticed that it's kind of starting to crack, so I just made a new one. So my brand new glitter grabber straw. So yep, that's pretty much all the things that I think you need. The last thing that I have sitting over here on the side is a cardboard box, and you probably can even use the cardboard box that your resin starter kit came in. I am going to cut these little sides off, and then you will have a perfect dust cover. Dust is a huge problem when making anything with resin because it needs time to sit and get hard, and during that process, pet hairs, dust, anything can fly onto your coaster, and then you have to either sand it, make another coat on there. So having a dust cover for me is crucial. So I'm weird, and anytime I get any kind of packages, I think, hey, is that the perfect size for some kind of cover. So I have all kinds of sizes of different boxes that I've cut and turned into my little dust covers. So this one I would use for like a set of 4 coasters perfectly. So anyway, that's all the materials. So I'm going to get ready, get my mask glasses and my gloves on, and we will start mixing. I did in between cut my little McDonald's cup down a little bit because the other one was so big and we're only doing 1 coaster. I didn't want to waste a whole bunch of surface area of resin. So the 1 coaster, it's a little bit smaller, like thinner than my other molds. My other molds are typically 2 to 3 ounces of resin will do. So this one, I don't know, might be 2 ounces. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't used it yet before, so we're gonna find out. I took one of these cups and marked it off inside to what, in my mind, guessing is like 1/3 of the way filled up. So we're going to mix this resin and hardener in this little cup for volume. This specific brand of resin is 2-to-1 ratio. So it's 2 parts resin, 1 part hardener. You want to be very careful and make sure that you use those exact amounts, because if you don't and you used a wrong ratio or you don't measure accurately, your resin won't cure properly. And then nobody wants to waste resin because it can be a costly investment here. So this is also their premium heat resistant resin. So you can use this for your coasters and know that if you put a coffee cup on there, that it's not going to cause the indentation. Some other ones that aren't heat resistant, if you put a coffee cup on there, it's going to leave a little ring mark on there. I've done that. So this stuff is good. It will basically allow you to use it for way more things. You don't have to tell somebody who's you're giving your coaster to, hey, you can only use it for cold drinks or whatnot. That's kind of silly. So anyway, yeah, this is also UV resistant, so it also prevents yellowing. Every resin, I think, well, I haven't been working with resin long enough to know 100% sure, but from what I've learned is gonna eventually yellow a bit. So this is gonna stay, relatively not yellow for a pretty long time. And also it is non-toxic when used as directed. So one thing that I've learned in researching is when you start mixing pigments and colors and glitters and other things in with the resin, that's when it changes the formulation. So that's when it can potentially be, toxic. So you want to be careful about that. That's why you want to make sure you use the right protection. If you use your coaster, then over top of it, here I go talking again, I'm sorry, we were supposed to get to the fun stuff, but if you pour a clear coat over top of it, it'll protect it, because this specifically says that it has been approved for food safety. It says it somewhere on here. I know I read that. Oh, suitable for a food safe coating, but not as a cutting or food preparation surface. So basically you can serve food on it, but you wouldn't want to cut into it or anything like that. So yeah, if you're gonna want to make sure it's ultra food safe, then you would, obviously want to coat it with a top coat of just clear, no pigments, no glitters, nothing else in there. So that's if you're gonna go, making like a food platter or something like that. Okay, so like I said, we're to the fun stuff. So we're gonna start with the Just For You Online UK Premium Heat Resist Resin. Okay, so this one, again, we're gonna need 2 parts. And then I got my little mark in here, so I'm gonna try my best to fill it up just right to that mark, right underneath it. Okay. And then grab one of my handy dandy little plastic paint sticks and pour it in here. And then I use this to kind of scrape the sides and make sure I get it all out of there. Now, since this is 2-to-1 ratio, I'm gonna do 2 times of the resin up to the line. So here goes number 2. And I can tell right now just by pouring it, it's very, the viscosity is thin. It's not as thick as some, so that's nice. Some start out really thick and you don't have as much time to work with it. This resin here, you'd have about 30 to 45 minutes to work with. Once you start applying heat though, with your heat gun, it's gonna reduce the time that you have to work with before it starts curing and getting thick and hard, and you can't really manipulate it anymore. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with Premium Heat Resist Hardener right here. Okay, and then this is one part of this. Find my line. This one is definitely way thinner than the resin, so you gotta be careful when you're pouring it out. All right. Dump that in there. Scrape all that off so we get it all. Okay. Now this formula, every formula is kind of different as far as how long you need to mix it. This one specifically says mix well for 3 minutes. And so when you're mixing, I don't know if you can see, ooh, there's kind of like some string type action going on in there. I'm not an expert or anything. I don't know exactly what these words are, but you can see the 2 different chemicals in there. So you want to mix it pretty much. Hopefully by the time you're done mixing at the end of 3 minutes, you don't see that separation. You can't, there's no different textures in there. There's no strings or threads of whichever one it is. Resin, probably, because it was a little bit thicker. So go ahead and keep track of the time. All right. So now after I get done stirring this and make sure it's really, really mixed well, I'm gonna divide it into my different little containers. And then we're gonna add glitters and color to those individual separate cups. When you're mixing, you wanna make sure you scrape the sides really well, so you make sure it's mixed really thoroughly. And again, if you don't mix it really well, if you don't measure it really well, like there's a lot of little tiny things that can affect the outcome of your coaster. So you want to scrape the sides really good. You want to give it a good scrape on the bottom, around all the edges. Make sure it's really mixed together. Because how sad is it to spend so much time and energy and love making something like this and then it doesn't cure right and you wonder what the heck, what happened here? Anyways, so right now I'm seeing a lot of micro bubbles in here, and that's because I'm kind of still a little nervous filming this video and kind of stirring quickly. So the slower you mix it, the less air you'll have in there, creating all these little bubbles. Do you see them? So you can mix it really slowly. And just keep scraping. Already a couple minutes has passed by. I guess I could have sped through this part, but I am not an expert in know how to stop and do that speed up time lapse thing that a lot of people do. I don't know all that yet. So sorry. Guess I could have paused it. All these bubbles on other resins that I've used in the past, when it sits a little bit, the bubbles kind of go away too. And that's another reason why you want to use your heat tool. So the heat gun will help get rid of most of these bubbles. Resin does burn, so when we use the heat tool, you want to make sure you don't hold it in one spot for a really long time. Even if you do see some of these bubbles and it's pesky and you're trying to get it out of there, you wouldn't want to hold it for a really long time over it, because you can burn that resin, and well, that's going to create some toxicity right there, but also it's going to ruin it. So you want to be very careful about that. You want to keep your heat gun moving and don't hold it over one spot for a really long time. Anyway, you can ruin your mold as well with too much heat. So just be very gentle with your heat gun and all will be well. Okay, so I think we might have went a little bit past 3 minutes, but I'm gonna go ahead and scrape off this resin here. Set this down. I have my 3 different little cups. I'm gonna divide it, but I'm gonna save a little tiny bit of clear for just in case. So I'll pour a little bit in here. We're gonna make this the green. Pour a little bit in here. And that's gonna be that iridescent glitter. Pour a little bit in here. Maybe a little bit more. And I'm gonna use that for the rubble flakes. I don't wanna accidentally bump this, so I'm gonna move it over here. So now we'll take the Till It Sparkles. Use my handy dandy little scooper. Just, I mean, this is such a small amount of resin I have in here. I don't know if you can really see. It's such a small amount of resin in there. You don't want to mix more than 10% of something else in with this. So, I mean, nobody's really that exact. Well, maybe somebody is in the world, I don't know, but as we're doing a guess here, I'm just gonna grab like a little tiny bit here. Can you see that? Glitter, not glitter, the Till It Sparkles pigment. Just tap it off in there. And grabbing a clean one of these, mixing it. This is like the best part, is mixing the color in with the resin. So pretty. Give the sides a scrape. Oh, this is so pretty. I don't know if you can see it as well as I can. Just the angle of my camera is, it's just so pretty. Well, you'll see it when we pour it. So that's that one. Close this up. Then we're gonna do the fine iridescent white glitter. It really is fine. So again, we're gonna go in with a little dip. Oop, that's a lot. Okay, like this much, and give it a tap in here, and I'm gonna add a little bit more. Going back in there with this. I'm just doubling it, basically. Okay, and then grabbing another clean stick here. This color on here is from before. It's like, it's not coming off. I tried. Yeah, then we just stir this in. Oh, this is so pretty too. And the flakes have a little hint of green. So that's gonna be really pretty mixed with the green pigment. Man, I should have positioned my camera better. I don't know how to. I think you can see it, that green sparkle. So pretty. Okay, scrape this off. Set that one aside. And then go in with the Rebel glitter. This stuff is so awesome. Rainbow white glitter flakes. Oops. Get a scoop. Now glitter, you can put more glitter, like this type of stuff, in your resin than the 10%. I've done this in the past and get relatively thick. So that was like 3 scoops. I think maybe because it's just a hard little plastic, that it doesn't cause an issue with the curing. And you just stir it up. Again, this one also has the green coloring to it. Okay, so there's that. Trying to think if I want to add more. I'm not going to. Okay. No, I am going to. So we already did 3 scoops of the Rebel glitter. I'm gonna go back in and do a 4th. Okay. And here goes the magic. We got the coaster mold, and these I love because you can pinch it and it bends and makes a little point like this, so it makes it a lot easier to control for me. So go and just do an outline edge border. And you know what? It's pretty translucent right now. probably could have added a little bit more of the powder. To give it a darker color. There we go. Just the outline edge there. And now we're gonna go in with the fine iridescent white glitter. Give it a little pinch. I'm gonna go right inside of that border we just poured. The sparkle is so pretty. And once more around. Okay. Then the Rebel Flakes. They kind of settle at the bottom, so I just give them a quick little stir again right before I use it. So give it a pinch, and then I'm actually not gonna go right to the border of what else we poured. I'm gonna just try to keep it in the middle here. So pretty. I think I'm gonna fill in the rest of the space with, come on, get off there, with the iridescent white glitter. So I'm gonna go in and maybe do a couple more rounds. Oh no, I knocked that glitter over there on the side. Did you guys see that? Probably with my crazy shaking. I will dig that out in a second. Did you see that one fly over there? So gonna use the one that I used to mix the iridescent white glitter, since that's the layer it's in. Just kind of scoop it out of there. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do a little bit more of the flakes. And this is the fun part. This is where you get to be creative and do whatever you feel like, you know. You don't have to do it this way. I mean, I'm just kind of winging it myself. And if you have any other colors at home, you know, this is where it gets fun. You can do any colors. You can use acrylic paint to mix in here, mica powders. You can use inks, alcohol inks, and I've seen people using India inks. I haven't done that myself, but going back in with the iridescent white glitter. Just filling in a little bit more. And I'm completely filling it to where it's meeting with that clear that we mixed with the Rebel Flakes. Okay, it's starting to do its thing. Resin will do what it wants to do. Right now I see what's going on is the green pigment is starting to slowly pull in. I'm really excited to see what this is gonna do. I'm going to give this green another stir and add a little bit more green. I didn't want to put too much green and have it overpower all the other glitter, you know, because it could just cover it all up. But maybe we'll just do a little bit more. I'm going right again on top of that outer edge. Okay. I'd say it looks like it's pretty full, maybe 2/3 of the way full. So I'm going to fill it up a little bit more, starting with the center. This is where it's balancing, because if you fill too much on the outside, it's going to start crowding the middle. If you fill up the middle, it's going to start going to the outside. But you probably want to start with the middle first, because then as you add to the outside, it'll push it back in. So we're going to add more to the middle. And then, oh, I'm almost out of this one. Yeah, we used a lot of this. If we need more, we did save that clear and could add more, make more. And it's hard to quite see to the edge, but I think we could add more. So I think I'm going to mix up a little bit more of the iridescent white glitter. Grab my scoop. And how many scoops of this did we do? I think we just did 2. Give it a stir. This is just the best glitter. This duo of this iridescent white glitter and the rainbow white glitter flakes is just amazing. I love it. Let's go around the edge here in the middle. Whoop, it looks like I went a little heavier with the glitter. Looks a little different. But it's okay, because it is all gonna kind of bleed together. Now a little bit more on the edge with the green. Just a little bit. We don't want it to overflow the mold. You want to make sure your surface is really level too. Otherwise you're gonna have, you know, your coaster is gonna be thicker on one end than it is the other. So it's so pretty. I don't know if you guys can see that, but hopefully you can see it as good on camera as I do in person. So now we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of heat. I hold it a little bit, you know, of a distance away. I'd say, I guess this is about 6 inches. And I kind of just make quick sweeping motions over. And then I'll make like a circle and then maybe a quick, because I've burnt a couple of molds in the past and I don't want to do it again. I want to be able to make lots and lots of coasters out of this. So always in my experience, I had another heat gun, and when I would turn it on, little tiny particles would fly out of here. So whenever I start it, I make sure it's not pointing directly at the coaster, because I don't want to blow whatever that is into my coaster. So I just start it off to the side and then I'll go to the coaster. Okay, so it's gonna be loud. This is the heat gun. that's all I feel like it needs. You can do more. You can use the heat gun to manipulate it and, you know, blow it in, mix it, blend it. I've seen people, you know, take their stick in there. Well, I have done that too and make like little swirly designs, but I think this one I'm just gonna let it do its thing and come back and see what it looks like. I do see my little glitter piece here starting to try to wander away, so I just poke that back in. Stay where I want you to stay for the most part. Okay, so also in between videos here, I did cut those edges off like I told you I was going to on the box that I got from Just For You Online UK that it came in. The resin kit came in, and I just cut the flaps off now. Boom, dust cover. So I'm just gonna let that sit. I'm gonna come back and check on it again in about 10 minutes. See what it's done. See if I want to maybe at that time adjust flakes or anything like that. Hit it again with the heat gun to make sure we got all the air bubbles out of there. And yeah, we'll check back in 10 minutes. Okay guys, I feel like it's been about 10 minutes. I honestly wasn't really keeping good track of time. So I feel like right about now is when I would check on them. It's been about 10 minutes. So let's see what it did. And it did pull more towards the middle. That's gorgeous. It's so pretty what it's doing. It just slowly seeps in towards the middle, and it's fading, it's gradient. So it's darker on the outside edge and lighter towards the middle. Who knows what it's gonna look like tomorrow. This needs 24 hours to cure. So we have to let this sit overnight, 24 hours. We'll check back tomorrow and see what it looks like and demold it, take it out of the mold and all that fun stuff. Also, I want to hit it with the heat again one more time, just in case there's any bubbles in there. So bear with me while the heat gun is a little bit loud. Again, I'm pointing it off in the distance. That's it. Okay, also, another tip. Let's cover this first. Don't want any dust in there. The heat gun has this flat base in the back. I don't know if you can see it because of the angle of my awesome camera, but it has this flat back on it. So this is kind of what it looks like. And here's the back. This is where you can rest it, and it just sits like that, pointing straight up. So that way the nozzle is pointing straight in the air, so you gotta be careful. Obviously don't touch it, it's hot. But that way you're not like setting it down somewhere sideways, which I did at first before I realized, genius, that the back is flat. Watching somebody's video, I saw them set it down like that. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, I've burnt my carpet because the tip is obviously really, really hot, so you have to be careful. Before we're done for the day, grab a wipe, and it smells awesome. And then we're just gonna grab these and give them a quick wipe down. That's it. These are clean, good to go for next time. close up your glitters, which I didn't do. I should have done in case you don't want to accidentally knock them over. And we are all done for the night. And I'll check in with you in 24 hours and take a look at what our resin created here on our beautiful coaster. Okay, bye guys. Hi guys, we are back. It's been 24 hours and I've been patiently waiting to see what our coaster looks like. Are you ready to take a look? Here we go. Ta-da! Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Look. Demolding, let's unmold it, take it out. Just carefully peel it away at the sides. Then slowly get a little bit of space here in the bottom. Oh, it's nice. It's really nice. Came out beautiful, you guys. You can do this too. Just do what I did, step by step. This resin actually is really awesome. It's rock hard. It was 24 hours and it's solid. So I highly recommend it. This kit right here from Just For You Online UK. So basically it has everything that you need to go ahead and start working and get to making your own beautiful resin coasters. I hope you guys liked my tutorial and I hope I was able to explain everything thoroughly, probably a little bit too thoroughly. I know I did ramble on a bit there. This is a very long video, very step by step, so I'll make sure to put some notes somewhere breaking down, you know, where you can skip through the video at certain parts so you don't have to sit through this whole entire thing. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you have enough confidence to start making your own, and see you next time.